Companies across the globe are trying to figure what Gen Z want. They're both the customers and latest entrants to the workforce after all. Now, in an apparent bid to motivate new employees, a well-known company founder has stirred up a hornet's nest. Shantanu Deshpande, founder and CEO of Bombay Shaving Company, advised youngsters to work 18 hours a day in the first few years of their career. Deshpande didn't stop there. He further exhorted the new kids on the block to forget work-life balance and not indulge in, and I'm quoting here, random Rona Dhona. As expected, the reaction to Deshpande's social media post was quick and brutal, so much so that he had to clarify that all he meant was work is worship. So can hard work be equated with creating a toxic work environment? Or will the traditional office jobs will soon be a thing of the past? We're going to dive into this hot potato discussion tonight with our guests who themselves have fiery opinions. So to speak on some of these aspects, I'm joined now by Shantanu Deshpande, the author of that post on LinkedIn and also the founder and CEO of the Bombay Shaving Company. Aditya Mishra, director and CEO of SEAL, an HR firm, is also joining us on the show. Welcome to both of you. Shantanu, you've sparked off quite a furore with your post. And did you mean it? Did you mean it when you told people that, no Rona Dhona, don't do random Rona Dhona, take it on the chin, be relentless. When you're 22 and new in your job, throw yourself into it, eat well, stay fit, put in 18 hours a day for at least 4 to 5 years. What did you mean?
Thanks a lot for having me. And first of all, I apologize to people for whom this post may have hurt sentiments or come across without context or without the nuance that I now recognize was needed. There are 2-3 points, Tamanna, I wanted to make. Number one is, in any field or pursuit which a human being takes, it could be art, it could be sports, it could be business, it could be a new job, whatever it is. The only variable you can control is your hard work. You cannot control how much money you're born with. You cannot control how much God-given talent you have. You cannot control whether you're born in a city or a village. You can only control your hard work. And my fundamental belief is people who put in hard work and are gritty do very well in life, and they owe themselves that, especially given that our younger and younger generations are more and more aspirational. The second thing is,
are they lazy? Shantanu, I'm going to cut to the chase because you've actually sparked off a debate and you've heard maybe one side of it with people writing in and saying, hey, what are you talking about? If we work 18 hours, we travel 2 hours, when are we going to sleep? Do you want us to get sick, etc.? But on the flip side, maybe there are some people who silently agree with you. Are you saying this younger generation, Gen Z, I suppose, who's coming into the workplace is lazier than earlier generations?
No, I'll tell you what. And you're right. A lot of people have written into me and silently agreed and told me a lot of things. A lot of people have written and said, hey, we know you very well personally. You should have been a little more detailed in your point of view because we know you think better. My view is 22 to 27 is when you are maximum on opportunity, minimum on liability, right? At 27, 28, you start getting married, your parents get older, you start having liability. 22 to 28 is that window where you can give it your all and build significant muscle. It could be anything. If you're a guitarist, that's when your fingers become scabbed because you're practicing day in and day out, right? But that's how you become a great guitarist. At 28, you don't want to be in a position where suddenly your time goes in multiple other places and you think, I should have spent more time, kind of working my craft a lot more, because those 6-7 years never come back when you have maximum energy, enthusiasm, minimum liability. That's what I meant. I didn't mean 18-hour days as in put in 18-hour days every day. I also edited it when I realized that my exaggeration to make a point was taken out of context. I, of course, meant just give it your all. India's context is very different. We are a country that is on the precipice of greatness. We cannot throw this opportunity over the next 20 years. We have to give it our all. That's broadly what I was saying.
Aditya, to contextualize it with the real world expectations and aspirations of people in the workforce across age groups, but especially in the earlier parts of their career, their viewpoint to work has changed dramatically over the last few years and perhaps more post-COVID, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Aditya,
for sure.
let me just get Aditya's perspective in on that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what Shantanu has tried saying, I fully agree that the initial part of your career, you can do your best and you must do it because you are just starting your professional life. Uh, This is the time that you are most probably an individual contributor. You are basically mastering a skill and you are kind of building step by step. Now, post COVID, what has happened is maybe all of us have become a little extra sensitive towards the concept of wellness and mental well-being and all of that. Nobody is debating that. I think that's very important. I truly believe that for someone to excel in one's professional life, one needs to really stay fit. And that's what Shantanu has also written, that you need to stay fit. So by staying fit, I hope that he refers to be physical fitness as well as mental fitness. So only when you are physically and mentally fit and your mind is well organized, you are able to think better, you are able to discover new perspectives, you are able to observe better, you are able to observe and improve your skills, you are able to
Yeah, my
challenge
question
yourself
is
much
that
better.
my question is, and what I want to understand is the reactions to Shantanu's post. It's not about his individual. The reason I'm having this discussion today is not because of his individual views or what he's written on his LinkedIn profile and then, it went viral, etc. It's because it has also, I suppose, unexpectedly exposed a fault line in our workspaces today between the expectations of employers and what employees think they're getting out of work and their focus on work-life balance. What I want to understand from you, Aditya, is what do people want when they get into the workplace, and are they in this work is worship mindset or not? Because there seems to be a reality gap between what employees are expecting and what employers are expecting.
Tamanna, there is, as life is, there will always be a percentage of people who are kind of really wanting to go that extra mile. And there will be a large number of people who would be on an average kind of mindset. If we talk about this concept of work life and what employees are thinking, I think today's younger generation, due to the socio-cultural environment in which we live, our socioeconomic status with which we grow up, many people haven't seen the kind of struggles that their parents have really gone through. So many of them have grown up with an entitlement mindset. That's the fact. We cannot deny it. And hence, the concept of hard work, the concept of putting in extra means very different to this generation compared to what their parents were. For example, somebody who's in his 40s or her 40s, who is in a supposedly senior position in an organization, the perspectives are very different from the younger generation today. So if someone is being told that you need to put in extra hours to become really excellent in your work, it is not received in the same way as someone who was born in the 90s. So that's a social pattern that we observe, Tamanna.
So, since both of y'all are on the same side, even though I'm not from that generation, I am going to play devil's advocate and represent that generation for some, equality on this debate. Shantanu, many would argue that what you are saying is the kind of attitude that is fostering a toxic work culture. And there was a recent McKinsey study which showed that 4 out of 10 in the Indian corporate space feel burnout. The biggest reason is quote unquote toxic work environment. And people are beginning to feel that if they really kill themselves working, what are they getting out of it? The employer benefits, the company benefits, they're underpaid and overworked. And a lot of what you're saying is just, kind of talk to get people to work harder for less. What would you respond to that?
No, Tamanna, you're absolutely right. In fact, I realized that the message was lost, at least the message I was trying to give was lost on people when my best friend wrote me a message saying, I disagree, Shantanu, you know what I've been through. And I realized that a large part of India works with sometimes in toxic work environments, sometimes with bad bosses, sometimes political situations inside the office, and so on, right? And for someone to have read this when they are probably struggling may not have been fair to them. So I recognize that this is, that the post may have been extreme, and maybe the context was narrow. However, to your point, right? You're right. My, my first point of view to people is, if you are in a place where you are not learning, or you are not feeling inspired, or you're not having fun, you're in the wrong place. So change your work environment, your boss, your colleagues. If you feel you're being exploited, you're not being paid fairly, etc. At Bombay Shaving Company, we also, like, I mean, of our first 10 people who joined us, I think 7 or 8 are still with us, and we constantly have debates. We work with a full-time mental health organization to work with all our sales force and our younger employees. We have an ESOP board where we show our value for people who are creating more value, and so on. I think fundamentally, personally, and for people who know me, and even in the post I've written, that if you really want to know, I would love to welcome you to my office and introduce you to some of our management trainees and so on. And maybe if I'm getting something wrong, we should change it. But I think fundamentally, if the workplace is toxic, your relationship, your boss is not inspiring, your colleagues are political, any of these issues, that's a deal breaker for me. Like, if you are in that setup, please change it.
No,
But if you
I
are
want to
not,
come. I want to come. Yeah, just one
Yeah.
second. Just to follow up quickly for Shantanu, I want to come specifically to the point you make on that early worship your work. Now, to me, Shantanu, what I didn't understand is that why this kind of an attitude is required only in the first 4 to 5 years of your job. The way I see it, if you, if you're not on the accelerator constantly, it just doesn't work. And if you love your job, you're going to do that. Maybe I'm on the other extreme. But why do you think you need to do this just in the beginning? Why would you worship your work only in the beginning? And then what happens?
Yeah.
It never really ends. Either you like doing work or you don't, right?
no, I don't think it's a like or not like. I think I'm a big believer in energy management, right? So when you're 27, 28, 29, when you are in a serious relationship or are married, your parents are getting older, you might have a small kid, etc. You start deriving energy from things at home a lot more. It's a stage of life thing in my belief, right? As people get older, they derive, there are 4 kinds of energies: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. You start deriving a lot of your energies, which are more emotional and spiritual in nature, as you grow older. When you're younger, you are full of energy, you're fire in the belly, right? You are physically and mentally, you need stimulation. At that age, 22, 23, 24, you never get tired. Do you remember how you were when you're 23? You could party all night and then run a marathon in the morning. That's how we are. So channeling that energy in the right direction, especially if you are surrounded by good mentors, you like your work,
Yeah.
you see opportunities for growth, it's very important, because at that point, don't give it up. My only point is, India is not a developed nation yet. We are getting there and we are very close. Don't color your context by information that is from developed worlds which have
Isn't
gone
it
through
an
it.
individual choice and an individual experience?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. What you don't want happening, Tamanna, is see, this is a very aspirational generation. People are very aspirational. They want to make it big. They want to become big founders or big CEOs or big athletes or whatever it is, right? Don't be unfair to your aspiration in that age. That's the age where you can max out your potential by just putting in effort, because you have no other obligations. That may not be the case when you grow older.
Yep. Okay, Aditya, you wanted to come in very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly, just a couple of points. One about this toxic work environment. I would say that even if you are in a toxic environment, you are not liking things, then that doesn't make an excuse that I will not put my 12 hours of work or whatever number of hours. The spirit to excel, the commitment to work that extra mile, and I will excel in that environment should not go down. Yeah, maybe you don't like it, so you should leave and find better places. However, until you are there, try to maximize. So that is one point. The second point is about this whole thing about work is worship. I think that's an individual's belief. And today's generation, particularly, we are a recruitment and staffing company. We deal with a lot of people across the age group, across functions. So this is what I observed, that particularly the younger people, their interests are varied. So one is learning, let's say, coding software. At the same time, maybe very interested about gardening, maybe interested about history. So there are multiple areas of interest, while older people did not get that kind of an opportunity. So when you have varied interest, then you also need certain kind of time. Many of the senior people and the organization's leaders don't recognize this change which is happening. And this change is a good change. So we need to really accommodate that, the change, the aspirations of our people. The person is not only...
People have changed. What people want from work have changed. Everyone has this, you only have one life mindset. You don't want to wait till, all of that energy and that youth is going to start enjoying yourself. It's an ongoing process, and I think that's a reality check employers and employees need. Thank you so much to both of you for joining us on this very hot debate. Shantanu, I hope you've managed to clear up the air.
I don't know. I believe, Tamanna, thank you for inviting me, first of all, to talk about this. I did not realize when I was writing the post about how much debate it would cause. It was very, in retrospect, I shouldn't write things as casually as I do. I'm a fairly honest person, so I've just been honest even in this. I'm hoping that people forgive and try to see context, and I'm happy to answer future questions if they want.
No, I think you raised a very pertinent issue, so thank you for that. Thanks once again for joining us.
Thank you, Tamanna. See you, Aditya. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.